Hey, look at that gold mirror. This is a pretty cool guitar. This is a RG, and I've had this on the channel many times, but it is such an easy guitar to play. What is it, a RG 350 MDX. Maple neck. I love maple necks. Anyone else out there like maple necks? I do. All right, here we go. We're going to do another comparison between the 50-watt Ivory and the 100-watt Ivory. This one's got to be better because it's got a light behind it, right? Yeah, I put that back to myself. Anyways, we're going to go through each of the channels to see if there is a big difference between them, or if there's anything that's just standing out compared to these two, why you should get the 100 compared to the 50. SM57 and MD421. And we got my amp selector, and they're both running same time through the fronts. Let's do this. So, look at what we got. Welcome back to the show. We're going to go through these two and try to find out if there's similarities. Of course, there's going to be similarities, but if there's any differences, let's put it that way. We're just going to go through each of the channels and see what stands out on each one and talk about maybe why you would want the 100 watt over the 50 watt and vice versa. So let's go ahead and start doing this. All right, so what'd you guys think of those, the differences between these amps? Everything is at noon. We started off on the red channel with the gain at noon for both of these, and I will note, take note that I replaced this 5153 with a TAD Tube Amp Doctor ECC82 preamp tube to lower the gain on the third channel. So you're hearing less gain than there would typically be on this red channel for the 50 watt. And it didn't seem like that much of a difference between the 100 watt, but I know it was a difference between whenever I changed the tube out from what it was to what it is now. Take hints. Did y'all get that? Anyways, so we'll go through from the very beginning and we'll go hit the cleans, see if these can clean up at all, and go through each of the channels to see if there's any differences between them. So let's do it. All right, first we're going to start with the green channel on both. Cool. Gain is halfway, and just let's see what that sounds like, right? You know, edge of breakup kind of thing. Let's go over to the EVH and see what that sounds like. Back to the 50 watt. This one sounds brighter. This one's got like a rounder sound to it. Just like there's like just more low ends on tap there. I will note that I do have the resonance pot all the way up on this, the 50 watt here. And there is no resonance for the EVH. And it doesn't need one. The low dial here is, it's already comes with a whole bunch of low end. And I think it sits at the right spot too for the low end. But it's nice to be able to dial it in per cab, right? All right, so let's see if we can get something clean out of these amps. All right, we're still in the 50 watt. Let's go to 9 o'clock. Definitely turn up the volume. Okay, it cleans up really good around 9 o'clock, but you definitely have to push the volume here. So let's go over to the 100 watt. Do that again. You know what? The gain is at 9 o'clock, and it always has been. Let's see what it sounds like at 12 o'clock. Go back to the first one. Yeah, turn the volume up already. 100 watt. Okay, there's more gain going on here on the EVH for sure. Or the 100 watt. So let's actually bring the gain back down. Bring the gain all the way down. So it's not all the way down, but it's kind of like at 8 o'clock, wait, 7:30, something like that. I think you have to put it there to get any kind of clean. And this still sounds a little thicker. Go back to this EVH, put it back at 9 o'clock. Turn up the volume. Okay, there's more gain on the 100 watt. So there you go. I guess there really much isn't to say about that. Let's turn the gain up all the way on these and just kind of see what that sounds like, right? So 50 watt. Ooh, keep on doing it. All right, so 100 watt. Ooh, it's much thicker. Let me see if I can bring the lows down. Go back to the 50 watt. Obviously way more gain in the 100 watt than there is on the 50 watt. So that sounds like more of a crunch to me, which you could have 3 different types of crunch / lead gain stuff, which is great, really cool. But I definitely had to cut the lows on this, and that's what I was saying about this amp that I noticed before, is that the lows are just really prominent on this guy. Let's go back here to the 50 watt. Let's bring up the lows. And let's just compare where the lows sit comparably. Whew. It's almost a little different, actually. Obviously, the 100 watts gonna be bigger, right? Let's push it all the way up. Let's see what that sounds like. Not quite there, as we expect. All right, enough of that channel. Let's go ahead and go over to the blue and see, since this one is basically the same channel here, it just kind of flips over. I'm curious to see if this EQ is a little bit different on this guy. So here is the blue channel with everything at noon. That's a really sick channel. You know, everybody loves this channel and then boosting it. So, I mean, obviously it just sounds great. All right, let's go to 2 or 100 watt. Already really low, just dark sounding. And I don't think as much gain, 50 watt. Yeah, there's lower gain in the blue channel here. Let's match it. Let's go up to 2 o'clock. Okay, obviously this is way darker. And it has more low end. 50 watt. 100. Okay, so let's see how high and shrill we can get both of these amps. I haven't messed with the presence yet, and they're both over at noon. So let's bring the presence up for the blue channel to 3 o'clock. That's actually a really cool tone. So presence is at 3 o'clock there. Let's go to the 50 watt. Let's bring this up to, the presence up to 3 o'clock. Probably on the DAW, probably sounds really shrill, but it's kind of a cool sound out here. Let's go back to the 100 watt and see if that matched pretty well. Still darker. 50 watt. Still more gain over here too. So we're gonna go ahead and go up to 3 o'clock. Probably even all the way up. $50 watt. Okay, 50 watts blue channel has more gain than the 100 watt. I did not change the preamp tubes in this guy. I cannot see it. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to look at later and then maybe put in the description what they are. So there's not as much gain on the 100 watt as there's the 50. All right, let's go over to the, well, do I want to mess with the EQ a little more? I'll tell you what, let's dial it in. We'll dial it in the way I like it. So we're on that one. I typically like the presence back there. Let's bring up the highs, bring back the mids, bring up the lows. bring up the gain. Ah, I love that. That just sounds so freaking good. And I've had this one on my channel many times, and it always makes me happy. So let's go over to the 100 watt and dial that one in. Whoa, there's all the presents. So it's just like the 6505 where all the presents comes in at like 3 and up. Watt. Okay, this one has more mids, obviously, because I pushed the mids. So we're going to do that to this one. More. Watt. But I also have that one a little louder, so we'll turn this one just a tad. Watt. They both sound awesome. This one obviously just sounds a little more rounder because it's, I think, just more like it's, because it's a 100 watt. Got more tubes going here. And I don't even have the volume up, but it does get thicker the louder you make this guy. And this one does start to fall apart when you're really pushing it. The low end definitely drops. And that's the difference. You know, when people say, well, 50 watts is plenty enough. You know, and I say, no, it's not for me. And the reason for that is because the 50 watts start to fall apart whenever you're pushing it with a band that has a loud drummer and another guitar player, and you still want that low end. Now, this one I can definitely get away with. We just have to adjust the band volume to compensate for it a little bit, but it sounds killer. But this one, tons of low end. So whenever you have a 100 watt, yeah, it probably doesn't get too much louder, but it holds together much more. And that's what I keep on saying is like, yeah, I'd rather a 100 watt because when I play it loud, I don't want it to start falling apart whenever it's at that peak level of, you know, just being over the drummer and another guitar player. So that's my thoughts on it. All right, so let's go over to the red channel and then we'll call it, right? Red channel. At noon. Put that at noon too. Okay, so the 50 watt, let's see what that sounds like. You know, sometimes you hear a tone and it just makes you write something in a certain way. That's what that kind of does for me. All right, 100 watt. Is the levels right? It's a little louder. A lot more low end and is darker. Ooh, but that is brutal. Ah, that sounds huge. And maybe that is why you would pick the 100 watts over the 50 watts. Let's see. Here's the 50 watt. This just has a clarity to it for sure. As far as gain, yeah, this one definitely has more gain, but remember, it's because I changed the preamp tube on this. Let's see if we can get more low end out of this to compare to the 100 watt. So 50 watt. Ah, that's that stuff that you can just feel right there. And 100 watt. It almost like muddies it up, how low it is. So let's bring up the highs. And oops, 50 watt. I feel like I need more mids. Like, okay, that's one thing I'm noticing is there's more mids at noon with the 100 watt than there is the 50 watt. So here's the 50 watt with the mids pushed to 2 o'clock. 100 watt. Yeah, there's still more mids. That's interesting. It sits in a different frequency. It's like, I think the lows, in addition to the low mids, are what I'm hearing here, that this doesn't have as much as. Now, you could totally fix that with like a PDQ pedal from CubeTech. Something like that, stick that in the loop and you're good to go if you want more of that low end. But this one definitely has just that low end just grunt to it. And obviously you can tailor it to, you know, fix the whatever issues you're having. If it's too much, just drop the lows. Okay, that sounds like the 50 watt. Let's bring up the gain on this one. There we go. 100 watt. Okay. There we go. Dude, this 50 watt, I love this thing. That sounds like the Uber Ultra that I did not too long ago. That distortion and that feel. That just makes me happy. I'm gonna push the presence up a little bit. A little bit more. That's my tone right there. That is my tone. And 100 watt. Had to bring presence up. Look at those mids hit funny. Just to show you how much low end there is and why you don't need a resonance pot. Yeah, clipping. There's tons of low end in this thing. You don't need a resonance pot for this. Bring up the gain. That's sick too. But the 50 watt? All right, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to go through. Between these two, I feel like there's more mids present in this one, in the 100 watt. And then in the 50 watt, it's more of a Mesa kind of sound with the scoop mids and with that sizzle top end. But this one at noon with everything was always darker. But the sweep on the pots here are a lot more reactive. There's more range in the pots here. This one kind of sits in a territory that works great for me. I absolutely love this thing and where it sits EQ wise. This guy is like, you have to really dial it in. And once you get dialed in, you're good to go because you got 3 channels, you can switch between them and you'll have your sound. But it has plenty of low end and you won't be hurting for any volume for this guy, which with this one I have to kind of work with a little bit, but I'm okay with working with them just because it sounds so good and it's such a small compact head. I just love the thing. I'm partial to this one. And I did the DMD look to both of these ivories. The all black, and then, you know, I did this to match the colors of the channels. I didn't have a green one. It would have been nice to have a green one for the presence there for the green channel, but I didn't. So, but anyways, yeah, tell me what you guys think. I just wanted to go through these and just show you guys maybe there were some differences in it, and tell me in the comments. What did you guys notice? What would you pick in these given situations? But yeah, make sure you like and subscribe to the video. Definitely helps out the channel a lot. I'm trying to get out there so more people can see this stuff from what I'm doing, and you know, hopefully get better stuff in here and just put a little bit of DMD spin on all these YouTuber things. All right, DMD out.